Hi guys, Righteous Raymond here, back again with another powerful dose of truth for the day, and that is this. This is a quote from my book, Gaslit, Escaping the Narcissist Pit. The quote is on page 38. It says, cutting ties with people who hurt you is not enough. You must also cut ties with the version of you who allowed that treatment to go on. Cutting ties with people who hurt you isn't enough. You must also cut ties with the version of you who allowed that mistreatment or maltreatment to go on. When people hurt us, we know, I don't know if this is a new thing the past 5 to 10 years, we just cut people off. Your job mistreats you, they don't approve your off time that you put in, your PTO request, you cut them off. Your pastor hurts you, preaches you across the pulpit, you cut them off. Your mom chooses favorites with your brother and you cut her off. Your boyfriend's late for their 5th date in a row, you cut them off. We think the answer is to cut off the people that hurt us. But I want to propose to you all that perhaps it's not enough to just cut them off. I mean, maybe do cut them off. Maybe do cut them off. But what might be more helpful is to cut off that version of yourself that attracted that mistreatment and that allowed that mistreatment to continue. Don't just cut off the person. Cut off the version of yourself, not VIRGIN, not the person who waits until marriage to have their first encounter. I'm talking about the version, VERSION, the version, the type of yourself, okay? And I believe that if you change the type of self that you were in that relationship, the relationship can change. The type of you that shows up in that church, I believe that situations can change. I believe that you are more of a thermostat than a thermometer. I have my thermostat up here, you can't see it. But when I want to change the atmosphere, change the temperature, the climate in my apartment, I just go up there and I change the thermostat. I don't sit there and just be cold or sit there and be hot. I am a thermostat. I change, I determine my atmosphere. I determine my climate. I determine the temperature, okay? Now, a thermometer is something you put under your tongue and it tells you, oh, you have a fever of 100. But a thermostat is how you change. You control the entire atmosphere, okay? And so I want you all to ask yourself, who hurt me the most this year? And then ask yourself, why did I trust them this much? Why did I allow this to go on as long as I did? Why did I stay with them for 5 months? Why did I stay with them for 6 years? Why did I not leave that church after the first thing that he did? Why did I leave that job after the first time they didn't pay me? Ask yourself, who hurt you the most this year? And then ask yourself why you trusted them this much. Now, we're not victim shaming or victim blaming. I just want you to really think about, why did this happen to me? Again, not victim shaming, not victim blaming. I want to talk to you about the version of yourself, okay? So, it's kind of funny. I was at a restaurant with my sister, and they had fortune cookies. Now, I'm a Christian, so I don't believe in, like, getting my fortune from, like, the stars or crystal balls and like that. But I do like to read my fortune cookie because it's like good quotes and it's good advice. So the quote I got, this is from like a week or two ago. It says, turn off the TV and the computer and exercise your mind with a good book. So when I woke up Saturday morning, I felt God telling me to get some books off my bookshelf and to read these books off my bookshelf. So I picked these 2 books out, both by Nathaniel Branden. They're about self-esteem, okay? Honoring yourself, self-esteem. And so I let the TV off and I just read. I mostly just read this book here, but I read some of this book too. And I realized that there's a version of yourself that because of your low self-esteem, you let too much foolishness happen for too long. I'm talking to myself too, y'all. There's a version of me and you that we tolerate too much foolishness for too long. There's foolishness all in the world. There's foolishness. Turn on the TV, turn on TikTok. There's foolishness literally every single place in the world. But what is it about me, the version of myself or yourself, that we allow foolishness to come into our atmosphere and stay as long as it does, okay? So I want to read to you all some of the 6 pillars of self-esteem. I'm going to read, not the pillars, I'm going to just read some things I want you to think about with how to change the version of yourself. That way, what happened this year won't happen next year. What happened in your marriage, what happened in your church, what happened in your job, what happened in your family reunion, it won't happen again, or at least on the same level, because guess what? Not because they're going to change. They're probably not going to change. You're going to change. That's more powerful. It's easier to change you than it is to change 30 people in your family. It's easier to change you than it is to change 5 people at your job. It's easier to change you than it is to change your pastor and your first lady, okay? You can't change other people. You can only change yourself, okay? So we're going to work on changing the version of ourselves, okay? So let's get into it. So this is the 6 pillars of self-esteem. So I want you to think about some things I want you to change. You know, it's almost New Year's. I want you to focus on, do you focus or don't focus? When somebody says something that's rude to you or inappropriate to you, you tend to just phase out, your eyes glaze over, you don't. I want you to, no, I'm sorry, what did you just say to me? I want you to hone in, I want you to focus in like, wait a minute. You said what now? Don't just gaze off into outer space and blank your mind. I want you to say focus and say, now what did you say again? Now what are we again? Are we together? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Are we gonna be engaged within the next 3 years? What are we? Focus in. Okay? Thinking versus non-thinking, very similar. Awareness versus unawareness, very similar. Clarity versus obscurity or vagueness. Get clarity. You've been dating this guy for 5 years. Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you see me as being your wife? Do you see yourself with me 10 years from now? Do you see us married together? Get clarity. Don't just sit there and say, well, I don't want to ask, and then he get mad, he get annoyed. No. You deserve clarity. Ask your boss, are you ever going to promote me to being a manager? Because I only came here to be a manager. Am I going to be a manager at all? Pastor, you ever going to ordain me in this church? Do you ordain women in this church? Can women be ministers or elders in this church? Get clarity. Don't just sit there in obscurity. Well, I ain't going to say I'm going to let the Lord direct myself. No. You need to get clarity. You need to ask questions. Respect for reality versus avoidance of reality. You see your husband drinking tons of liquor every night, and you just sit there and you don't take that as reality. He drinks 10 cups of liquor a night. You need to acknowledge that. You need to address that. You need to ask yourself, do I want to be part of this when he becomes he already is an alcoholic, okay? Respect for facts versus indifference to facts. You see these charges on your couples, on you and your husband's joint credit card, all these inappropriate charges to certain websites and certain, particular websites. You need to stop pretending you don't see it. Ask them, hey baby, I gotta ask you a question. What's all this on our bank statement? What's all this? Who is this? Who is this? What is this number you be calling at 3 o'clock in the morning? You need to care enough about yourself to ask the hard questions. Perseverance in the effort to understand versus abandonment of the effort. You trying to get the truth and you asking him, baby, who was that girl you was in the car with when I saw you at work? Who's the girl you said, just get better. I ain't got time with that right now. I'm busy right now. No. Don't let it go. Persist. No, I need to know who she is right now. We're not get up this card until I know who she is right now. Respect for truth versus rejection of truth. Loyalty in action to our professed convictions versus disloyalty, the issue of integrity. If you don't believe in something, don't do it. If you don't believe in doing a certain thing, don't do it. This is how you get your self-esteem up where narcissists won't be attracted to you and narcissists can't stay with you. Honesty with self versus dishonesty. I'm fine. I'm not gaining weight. I don't have symptoms of diabetes. I don't have symptoms of heart disease. I don't have symptoms of cancer. I'm fine. Just lying and not accepting the facts, not being honest with yourself. These are the type of people that narcissists can be with, can thrive with, can grow with, can stay married 30 years with. Okay, self-confrontation versus self-avoidance. I know I need to clean it. Nah, I ain't gonna clean this out. It ain't that bad. The house ain't that bad. You need to confront yourself. You need to confront yourself. Look in the mirror and say, I gotta fix some stuff. I gotta take care of some stuff. I gotta take care of myself. Receptivity to new knowledge versus closed-mindedness. So I tell you something. I saw your man on this dating app with a lot of men who were same gender loving. You need to receive the new knowledge. Don't say, "Hey, my man ain't doing nothing. My man, our boy." No. You need to listen to them, look at the app, and confront your person. Willingness to see and correct errors versus perseverance in error. If you see somebody told you made a mistake at work, don't email it that way. Email it this way. Don't print it that way. Print it this way. Don't just persist in error. You need to stop what you're doing. There are a few more here, you all. But ultimately, you all, I want you all to walk in truth and walk in integrity. And that is how you change the version of yourself. And that version of yourself, it will repel narcissists. Can't help. They can't stand people who ask questions, who focus in, who concentrate, who persevere in getting the answer, who seek truth, who live in integrity. The narcissists can't be around you. So when you become a whole person with self-esteem and integrity, you will reject and repel the narcissist. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.